Picture this, you used to play Skyblock every day, but with the pandemic ending, school getting harder, and the game getting stale, you effectively end up quitting the game. 1 year passes and now you want to get back into it. But when you log in, you're overwhelmed. Items that used to be good are now terrible, there's new stats that you never heard of before, and everyone's using items you never knew existed. Well, that's what happened to me. So today, I elicited the help from fellow Skyblock YouTuber and Sweat, SaltLol, to guide me through everything I need to know to get back into the game. But before I even logged in, I was given some terrible news. My Baby Yeti cosmetic on the Essentials store is being removed. Luckily though, as long as you purchase it before it gets removed, which will be at the end of the year, you'll be able to keep it forever. So if you're thinking about getting it, act now before it's too late. Okay, so here we have SaltLol and he's gonna basically guide me through everything I missed. For reference, the last thing I really remember was about the Crimson Owl update coming out and maybe the first revamp where they finally actually added the other tiers of Kudra. But past that, I have no idea other than just like sparing information from like seeing a forum or Twitter post or like someone telling me on Discord. But otherwise, I have no idea about anything else.
Yeah, so Crimson Isle was really important for the game. It's still one of the most relevant things because it's typically one of the last areas for endgame content. So this is the Inferno minion.
Oh, I know what those are. I remember.
Yeah, and if we come over here, this one actually has like the expensive fuel in it. Other Slayers have their like key drops just off of the boss, and then their Slayer minions like Rev and Terra just sort of give like base materials. They don't really do anything. And maybe they're the best in their class, like Rev is the best way to get zombie flesh, right? But in terms of actual usability, those are just extra.
Oh, this is like the only way,
Slayer,
right?
The actual RNG drops are not from the boss, they're from the minion, which is really kind of backwards. But yeah, so the actual
I knew a little bit because I was like, because the minions were still at the like beginning of the update. Like I knew at least like how there was like the peppers and stuff.
Oh, the rest of my slots are slimes because they're just really like
is slime still good money?
Free. Yeah, they're risk free. They make if I were to switch all these Infernos back to slime, a full slime setup makes like 100 and something mil a week, and it's completely unaffected by the economy. So it's just safe money.
Oh, from NPC.
Yeah. So basically, this is, apart from big revamps of familiar content, this is the biggest new content. The problem with it, I guess not a problem, but a difference is that while Skyblock is mostly based on replayability and doing the same thing over and over again, this is like a one-time playthrough storyline.
Oh, okay, that's good.
And it's really fun and really well designed. It's really funny, actually. A lot of the dialogue making me genuinely laugh. Me and some friends like to call it the Mini Clune fever dream because everything Mini Clune makes no sense. But this is like hopping into an entire world that follows Mini Clune's logic.
How like useful is it?
Oh, it's like 15 Skyblock levels. It's
okay.
It's an entire new Slayer with drops and levels. It has I would say like 8 talismans. So it is like a concealed storyline, but in terms of needing it for the rest of the game, yeah, you will want to do it.
Okay, so now you're gonna tell me about Dungeon V2. I didn't even know dungeons changed, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's like unofficially titled Catacombs V2. The real name is something like version something Dungeon Bounds changes, but everyone calls it Catacombs V2 because that's what it is. So basically the first part of it came out a week before the rest of it, and it's this guy. He sells you a scroll that if you trade to Mort over there, Mort will permanently let you join dungeons by yourself. So instead of getting a frag bot or anything, so instead of getting a frag bot or some friend to sit AFK with you, you can now officially join dungeons as a solo player. I'm pretty sure you have to unlock like, I don't even know. It's a really, really low requirement. The only requirement to get the scroll from this guy is like floor 3 completion or something. So that's a pretty cool feature. I know a lot of people, especially in the earlier mid games, were really happy about that because frag running is very, very accessible now.
I mean, I know like from just looking at like I talked to people, so I knew that the hype is like crazy expensive? Is it, or has it gone back to normal?
I would say that the reason why it's expensive is simply due to inflation of the numbers themselves. The meaning of how valuable a Hyperion is has not changed at all, but the value of each coin has changed significantly,
But I
which
feel
is
like
just a classic
the
example of
term was the
inflation.
same. I feel like term was the same price. Was like
Yeah,
term is
so
the
the
same
reason-
price as I thought
Yeah.
of before.
Yeah, so the coins have become less valuable, which means all of the price tags will be higher, but the Terminator would be one of the most classic examples of an item that floored in price.
Okay,
People
that
use
makes sense.
people using Judgment Core on their RNG meter, like floored the price of that item, and almost every like substitual base craft, like just raw ender pearls or raw anything like that, that ends up building up into the Terminator, just all decreased in price. So while it looks like the term stayed around the same, it actually dropped in price and the coins got less valuable.
Oh, okay,
But-
that makes sense. But this
but
had
for the
nothing to
most
do with
part-
its use cases or like
Absolutely
its
not.
usefulness.
The Terminator actually got a massive buff, and that is one of my favorite changes as we jump into what happened in Kata V2. Oh yeah, no. So the big change is not even just the buttons you're pressing, but the fact that before this change, in order to reach maximum fire rate, you had to go something near 20 CPS on right click, which is
What?
which is unattainable. Yeah, so the shot cooldown with max attack speed is 0.25 seconds, and the only way to really have arrows fire every 0.25 seconds was somewhere around 20 something CPS. And so that's why a lot of auto clickers got very popular within the dungeon community, because it was one of the only ways that people thought you could get max damage.
Yeah.
I obviously never partaked in that, but I know a lot of people that did, and some of them were punished, some of them were not. But now you don't have to do that anymore. Yay! So now holding right click is hard coded to fire at your maximum speed. So now it just feels like you're shooting at 20 CPS from before.
So what's the point of left clicking then?
Left click is the salvation beam that triggers every 3
Oh
hits.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
'cause they
laser.
switched it. Okay.
And
okay.
that beam is very excellent. So now there's no argument about what's faster or what's better or what you're supposed to do. There is one true method, and it is hold right and tap left.
Like burst is not just term anymore.
Yeah. In M7 it is, but everywhere else it's not.
Wait,
If you
what do
check out
they
this,
like? That's the bouquet of something I heard about
it's a
it.
bouquet of lies. So it's the complete opposite of a flower of truth. It's the bouquet of lies, if you get the
Oh
gimmick
yeah,
there.
yeah. I
Instead
get
of firing 1, it fires 3. This thing also has a lot better like aiming recognition on mobs and rewards health on kill. So this is a very nice weapon. Unfortunately, its base damage is too low to be like used competitively. Then there's a couple weapons. There's a Felthorn Reaper. That thing is kind of cool. The giant sword got swing range, and the Claymore, as you know, if you look at me, this is your king. Just ignore the Chimera one. That's not. It's a visual error. But the Chimera is like, I don't know. Claymore's the best. If you look, well, I don't know what kata level you are, but when I look at my Claymore,
What am I? I'm like 36.
So what does it say my damage, this weapon's damage in Catacombs will be, like in the gray parentheses?
Damage, it says 2273, 2273.
Yeah, so at Kata 50, it's 3312.
Okay, that's crazy.
So this thing is your go-to. The Burst class also got major tie-ins to the stat of swing range. Swing range used to be only obtainable through the Crimson Armor or the Claymore. Now it is available through many sources, including the Burst class itself. And with a Claymore and a good Burst level, you should be getting upwards of 10 blocks of reach. So
10 blocks? What?
yeah.
You
just
don't have to
left-click.
aim either.
And you don't have
barely
to aim.
Wait,
If
if you have 10 blocks of reach, does it like span that entire like
Yes.
anything? Will it pierce?
It's
or no?
not. It's not up to. It's everything in. Yes.
It pierces.
So it's not. It doesn't. It's not that it pierces because it's not a projectile.
Oh, like everything
It just-
inside that range
it just
gets
is
hit.
the fact that everything in that little box gets hit no matter what,
Oh, that's crazy.
and they all take full damage because nothing's
Oh.
being like discontinued or like decounted. It's all in the same hit, so it's very useful.
Oh, okay. Now I see like why, like when you were saying like melee is a way, like it didn't really make sense, but like with that change, it makes more sense.
The meta for dungeons for a while has been any equipment from the Crimson Isle, like Molten or the Vanquish set, and then you put dominance and speed on it. Speed to run around in the dungeon quicker, and dominance to multiply your damage. But that's very expensive and really confusing, because why would this meta for Catacombs be a very specific set of items from a completely different piece of content, right? Doesn't make too much sense. So now that still is the best, but a very, very good and comparable choice is a new set of Catacombs equipment. So this is the best one of the set. There's one from each recognizable set. There's an adaptive one, there's a Shadow Assassin one, there's one from floor 4 that's made of bones, and there's one that is also made from a drop. It's just a drop from floor 6. It has to do with necromancy. So all of these not only have amazing base stats and unique perks that are recognizable to their armor sets, they also at the bottom are mythic dungeon cloak, which means they actually get catacomb scaling, which is something we've never seen before.
Oh, okay, so for the final thing I need to know, what are people grinding, and just like what do I need to start doing, and like how do I make money now?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is that once you hit a certain point in progression, I might get flack for this from other people that are like level 380 plus, but I would say that the most common thing that we're all doing is just grinding anything that has to do with levels. So
Yeah. I mean,
almost
I'm only
everything
230. I'm barely like
yeah.
I haven't done any level stuff.
Almost anything we do is almost entirely dictated by clicking the Skyblock levels button and then searching through what we don't have.
Isn't there Discord bots that like tell you
Yes.
what the cheapest
yes,
stuff
there
is?
are.
Yeah.
Skyhelper is a commonly used Discord bot that's been blowing up over the past year, and there's a command called /levels, and you can click cheapest Skyblock levels. Basically just lists anything that is not really work, like grinding catacombs levels or getting foraging XP or something that would typically be seen as like a thing you earn, but anything that can be simply purchased. And that is often what most people do with their coins, is dump hundreds of millions, if not billions, into things that give Skyblock experience, because they want to just up their Skyblock level to just prove like how successful they've been. In terms of money itself, mining is still probably king. It's still probably king. I mean, it's not what everyone does because it's really boring, but it is still pretty good. I know there's been a lot of changes to Armadillo.
I heard you can get like the one of the perks makes it so you don't even have to open the chest.
Oh yes,
for like powder
yes.
mining, so it's like really way faster.
So yeah, one of the things that makes mining a lot more accessible is the fact that they've done 5 or 6, if not up close to 10, I don't even remember, massive overhauls with ways to get more powder. Instead of something like a 200-hour grind, it's maxing like a 25-hour grind, and that's for just starting from 0 and being done. It's really, really quick. I mean, the Heart of the Mountain tree itself literally lets you get a perk that makes chests auto open after tapping them once. You don't have to trace the locks anymore. You know, you can get powder buff all the way up to 50%. And then they made the mithril and gemstone drills actually useful, because now each drill rewards more powder of its type, hybrid mining. So you mine normally with a Skatha or whatever, or with your Armadillo out. And then whenever your Armadillo gets its little energy recharge back, then you mine a ton of blocks of that. And then when it's done, you switch back. So you go like back and forth. I know mining is probably still one of the most hands-on and like really skill-based things. It's really hard to get into if you don't know what you're doing, but it is one of the most, it's actually one of the only things in this game that it's like money made is multiplied only by how good you are at it. Like it's really skill-based. It is be precise with where you're looking, what blocks you're mining, how quickly you're moving and where you're going, and how fast you can set up a route in order to actually start going. But I know it can still reach maybe 100 mil an hour. So I guess farming is actually what a lot of top players are doing right now to finish the game. I don't know if you knew about this, but I think we have 3 or 4 people that are done, which sounds ridiculous.
I thought only Deathstreaks beat it. I didn't know.
Deathstreaks and 15H beat it at the exact same time. They like synced it on stream, and I think 1 or 2 people have also followed up. But Yeah, the last thing that all those people were doing is garden milestones because they're painful. But
So
the
what
other
do
thing a
they
lot of people
do
are doing for
then?
levels is they're done with the game. I don't know. They grind money. They're literally done. Like I don't. It's a weird concept, but they are just if they click their menu, it just says you're done. Like there's nothing they haven't done. They're max Slayer, max skill average, max every single tiny thing that could and does give Skyblock XP. They are just done. They maxed all of bestiary after that got revamped because I don't know if you knew that, but that got entirely
Yeah, I
revamped to
heard
be
about that.
actually completable. It went from something around like multiple, if not dozens of real life years to like a couple months grind. Like some mobs literally needed hundreds of thousands of kills and now they all are like 10k. And rarer mobs are adjusted accordingly. Like you only need maybe 100 CMs, not like 10k. So it's really actually feasible. It makes sense to go for max bestiary. It's just a hefty grind. So when it comes down to what people are doing, it's doing Skyblock XP and then making money on the side. There's too much in this game to worry about to only focus coins, I feel. So, like, my advice to anyone watching would be don't, especially in the early game. It sounds negative, like I should maybe make that a positive. Do this. No. Okay, but don't only focus coins. Coins can only get you so far. When it comes down to picking what you want to do something that gives you coins, but also make sure it's giving you game progress. If you have two options and your options are one, work on this Slayer that can make you, I don't know, 10 mil an hour, but also at the end of the grind, you'll get like 4 Skyblock levels. And then your other choice is sit at the auction house doing flips all day. Only one of those things gives you actual game progress, and the other one just gives you more coins. So I'd always go for game progress over coins. Don't do
And
something that is
then,
like no
oh,
coins,
okay.
but like
I know what you
do
mean.
have like a hefty balance. So I'm just doing anything that is worth my time in XP and coins at the same time, and then maybe later on if there's something like trophy fishing that makes close to no coins, all the money I made from Kudra sort of makes up for it. Like I don't need more money because I already got a ton from the other thing.
So I have only one more question then.
Yes.
When are you getting Forging 50?